Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Week 8 NFL predictions. Last week on my Week 7 NFL picks, I went a total of 11-4, which now brings my season total to 67, 40, and 1 on the season. Pretty good week for Week 7. My losses were from the Steeler Bengal game, the Saints Bears, and the Colts Chargers, and the Buccaneers Lions. So we're gonna get started with a week 8 right away. But before we dive into that, we have the maps to show you what local game you'll be getting. You'll have your game announcers down there, and then the map on which of your local game will be for CBS early window, CBS late. You can pause this if you want just to make sure, and then your Fox single window. Most of you are expected to get the Giants and Eagles, while the rest of you probably the Niners and the Texans. And then some of you will end up with the Browns Patriots. And then some of you will end up with Tampa and New Orleans. But this is as of Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Got it? Alright, now we're going to get started with our picks. Starting off with the Vikings and the Chargers. And this one, both of these teams are kind of struggling right now. The Vikings are 3-3, and the Chargers are 4-3. It's looking like Carson Wentz is starting again for Minnesota, while JJ McCarthy is likely out for one more game, and then I think he's coming back in week 9. We'll see what happens, but none's guaranteed. But he's questionable going into today's game. But it's expected that Carson Wentz is starting again for the Minnesota Vikings. But we'll see what happens going into this game. And the Vikings are basically fine for the most part, except for like Andrew Van Ginkel missing. But the Vikings have been struggling a bit as of late. They've dropped their last. They are now sitting at 3-3. They need a win, but I don't think they're gonna beat the Chargers, as the Chargers are coming off a really rough loss to the Colts in a blowout, 38-24. The Chargers need to bounce back because since that 3-0 start, they've been 1-3, and they have not been looking great as of the moment. I think the Chargers do win. It's going to be a decent. I think it's going to be a pretty solid game. I think Justin Herbert is going to avoid pressure, and I think the Chargers are going to win. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be tough for these two teams, but I think the Chargers come out on top to win 27-23 at home to go to 5-3, while the Vikings drop to 3-4. And then starting with our Sunday afternoon games, we have the Miami Dolphins and the Atlanta Falcons. This one, I'm confident that the Falcons are going to pretty much dominate for most of the game. The Dolphins are just done at this point. They look dead. They're just showing up so they don't get fined. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, they're coming off a iffy loss to the 49ers. Penix is questionable going into to Sunday's game. But I think regardless whether you have Kirk Cousins or Penix starting, I think the Falcons are going to beat the Dolphins pretty convincingly. Now, I think this is going to be a close game, but I think the Falcons will have control for basically most of the game. I have it being Falcons 23, Dolphins 17. The Dolphins really need to clean house like now, but I thought that was the game that Mike McDaniel was going to get fired, but it wasn't. And Tua's still starting, so they're just tanking at this point. So I guess you just wait now until like the end of the season to fire him. There's no point in doing it now. You just go down until the season's over. Beyond this point, but yeah, Dolphins lose. They drop another one. They go to they lose 23-17. Then you get the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals. This one's gonna be pretty boring if you're asking me. Apparently the Jets have a 41% chance to win, which it should be only 50. It should be 20% if I'm gonna be honest. But the Bengals, they're coming in hot after the winning against the Steelers on primetime last Thursday. and then they have another home game with the Bears next week. But Cincinnati, for the most part, is expected to roll on offense. Trey Hendrickson is questionable. He could be traded, but I don't think you trade him now. I think depending on what happens with week number 8, depending on the game, how it goes, if you guys win, I think you just thug it out or go all in for the season. But if you lose, you may want to consider it. So I'm expecting you guys to win pretty convincingly. You're facing the worst team in the league. If you guys lose this game, then you need to fire Zach Taylor. But I don't think they will at all. I think Tyrod Taylor, I think if he's active, I'm expecting him to start. I'm hearing Fields may get benched, but he's dealing with a knee issue right now, so Fields may be starting. Garrett Wilson is questionable. He was not spotted at practice, so it's not looking good for him. And then for Breece Hall, he's a trade candidate, so he may not be playing. But he's limited with a knee, and he may be getting traded really soon, so we'll see what happens. Other than that, Jermaine Johnson could be a trade candidate, and then that's about it. But I have the Jets losing again. They're going 0-8. I think the Bengals win. Boring game. They do their job. They win 20-7 in Cincinnati. Then we get to the Patriots and the Browns. This week is not that great, if I'm gonna be honest. There's some decent games, but for the most part, these are pretty rough. But going into Cleveland and Cincinnati, I'm expecting a butt kicking for New England. New England's a hot team right now. Cleveland, I'm not expecting them to do much. In Foxborough, I'm not confident in the Browns going into New England doing anything. The Patriots are extremely hot. They have an easy schedule. Although Diggs is questionable, I think they're gonna be fine. Booty's been playing like a wide receiver 1 with Drake May, and you on the defensive side of the ball, Harold Landry is questionable. I think he's leading your team in sacks at the moment. But and meanwhile for Cleveland, let me check right now. I think Cleveland has somebody hurt. Somebody's hurt. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku are both questionable, but I think your main tight end now is Harold Fannin. I think Njoku may be traded, apparently. I don't know. Mason Graham, Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, all questionable. But I think regardless of it, I don't think the Browns are doing anything against the Patriots. I like the Patriots in this one. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think New England will do their job with Drake May, and I think they're going to light them up in the passing game. I'm not expecting the running game for New England to do much because they're facing Cleveland's rushing attack, and it's been pretty elite all year for the most part, except for the games where they faced I think it was Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs. Other than that, it's been pretty elite basically the whole season for Cleveland's rushing attack. They've stopped every runner except for Gibbs and Achane. But I'm not expecting them to stop the run against the Patriots. But they're going to go through the air, and I think that's where they're going to have success. So I'm expecting a big day for Drake May in this one. Probably 3 passing touchdowns, and with another Patriots win to go to 6-2 on the year. Browns fall at 2-6. Then you got the Giants and the Eagles. I think this one's going to be closer than people think it will be, but I still have the Eagles winning. They need a win. I think they will win. But apparently Brian Burns on the year has 9 sacks, which he's been really insane this year. I think he's your guy. I wish he was still a Panther, man. But we'll talk about the Panthers in a minute. But the Giants have Brian Burns questionable. They're coming off a huge loss. Well, they should be 3-4, but they're coming off a huge loss to the Broncos, which they choked away. And all I can say is that's your own fault. Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland are questionable. And going to the Philly side now, If it can load, it's got some issues. It's not running at full speed. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, the Eagles. I'm expecting them to win going into this matchup. Like AJ Brown dealing with a hamstring, he's questionable. Dallas Goedert, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens questionable. Aziz Ujulari questionable. Adoree Jackson questionable. But I think the Eagles are still going to come out hot right now. I like Devontae Smith. He's been really good as of late. He's been turning things around, and I think he'll continue to do so. I like the Eagles in this one. Give me the Eagles to win. I think this could be Saquon's big game as well, but he's been struggling. He's due. But give me the Eagles in this one, 27-20. Close game, but not enough for the Giants. Then you got the Buffalo Bills and the Panthers. This is probably the game of the week of the early slate. This one's a tough one because the Bills should win, but the Panthers have won 3 in a row and they're unbeaten at home. Right now with the Panthers, Bryce Young is not expecting to play on Sunday, but we're taking it day by day to see where things are going. Also, guard Damian Lewis, questionable. Everyone else is pretty much healthy for the most part, except for Princely. But, meanwhile, for Buffalo, they're looking kind of rocky right now, and that's where it raises a suspicion if they're really fine or not. Like, you have Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Dalton Kincaid, questionable. Matt Milano, Daquan Jones, Bernard, Rapp, questionable for today's game, or not today's game, on Sunday's game. And the Bills haven't been the best shape of themselves. I think they're going to turn it around, but this is a get-right game for Buffalo. But I think Carolina, regardless of Dalton or Young playing, I think the Panthers are going to win this one. The Panthers are a much hotter football team right now. I know their offense against the Jets was wonky. It was not good, but they found ways to win that scrappy game. It was scrappy to begin with. And then the Panthers, I have them winning. I'm expecting points in this one. I think you need to run the ball with Rico and Chuba Hubbard. I don't know who, but you need to run the ball this game because the Bills' rushing attack or rushing defense has not been good at all, like, as of late. You see with Bijan Robinson, week 6, he ran over the Buffalo Bills. He ran them over pretty dang good. The Patriots going to New England, they stopped them. The Saints. But yeah, it doesn't matter. You need to run the ball against the Bills, and that's how we're gonna have to win this game is running on the running attack. But I think the Panthers are gonna win this one. I'm confident playing at home right now when we're 3-0 at home, and I think we can do it again. I think the Panthers are gonna win this one 24-22, close game. Keep your eyes on it. This is a upset potential game. You got the Bears and Ravens now. Apparently, the Ravens are favored by 6.5, which is suspect because I don't think the Ravens are gonna win, unless if Lamar Jackson is playing. Then I see why it could be 6.5. But right now, the Ravens are in a tight spot because they're 1-5. Their season's likely over. And Lamar Jackson has been out for some time, and they've looked terrible without him. The defense is kind of banged up, but they just had the bye. He did participate in Thursday's practice, so he's could be playing. But I think the Bears are a more organized team right now. I think the Bears are going to beat the Ravens, regardless of Lamar or not. But the Bears are going to win this one. 27-24. If Lamar does play, it will be close, but The Bears win 27-24. Niners and Texans. The Niners are a stronger team with the injuries, but they've been playing pretty good football. And then you got the Texans that they're not going to do anything this year. They're not. They're done. I have the Niners getting it done here. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think the Niners went on the road 27-16. The offense looks like garbage. The defense is great. So I could see this being like a 16-16 ball game. And then it goes into overtime. This could be a really low scoring game because the Texans offense is so bad, and then the Niners but the Texans defense is good, and the Niners offense could be stopped. So we'll see what happens, but I'm expecting a low scoring game in this one. But yeah, the Niners win though. And then you get the Sunday late afternoon games, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. I think this is a get right game for Tampa Bay. You're gonna need every juice back, and you need to get locked in. I know that was a tough loss to Detroit, but this is a get right game. Get things together to get things back on. Now, Baker Mayfield is questionable for Sunday. I'm expecting him to play. Bucky Irving is already ruled out, I believe, for week number 8. But Tampa Bay's got a lot of injuries right now. So this could be suspect for Tampa. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, they're just riding the season out at this point. My internet's kind of slow, so bear with me. I can't get to where I need to go. Apparently, Teddy Bridgewater did not practice due to teeth issues, which is kind of, I don't know. But Godwin's already been out. Bucky Irvin's out. Abuka's questionable. Mike Evans just got put on IR. So you basically have Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson. Yeah, man. I don't know. Hassan Reddick's doubtful. This team's injured. So this could be like a trap game for Tampa. New Orleans gets done, you guys. But the Saints, on the other hand, they're just riding it out. I think Tampa does win 30-20, but this is a get right game. I think Tampa needs to lock in, get things back together. Dallas and Denver is next, and in this one, I think Dallas does beat the Broncos. Denver's been inconsistent. I know their record's 5-3, but they had 2 games that they've not really scored a lot of points, except for the final quarter, which really matters, and they won. The Broncos did win those games, but they need to be more consistent. And I like Dallas offense in this one. I think they'll outscore you. I think this is going to be a game of outscoring, and I think the Cowboys are going to outscore the Broncos. And I think the Cowboys are going to get it done. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think the Cowboys are just going to do enough to win. I think they're going to win 24-20 to get themselves to 4-3-1, and the Broncos dropping an upset, falling to 5-3. Then you got the Titans and Colts. I'm not going to talk about this. This is going to be a belt game for the Colts, 47-16. Moving on. I think the Colts put on a show. Packers and the Steelers. This is the game of the week. I think we get an upset alert. I think the Steelers do win. Steelers do win this one, and I think the Steelers stun the Packers this week. I think they win 23-20. Packers get a bad loss, and the Steelers get a huge win at home, beating Jordan Love and beating his former team. And then you got the Commanders and Chiefs. Boring game. I think Jaden Daniels is out. This would have been fun if Daniels was playing, but it's going to be another belt-kicking game. I think the Chiefs do it. They're the hottest team in the league. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my week number 8 predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great week, and I will see you guys next time.